Something tells me if we were back in Baltimore, we'd be getting arrested after tonight's podcast. This is Cory, and this is the Anthem podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. Welcome to episode 172 of the Anthem podcast. It is 6:53 Pacific time. That makes it 9:53 Eastern time. And The Anthem is live from coast to coast, coming to you from the beautiful The Anthem studios high above the 110 freeway in downtown Los Angeles, California. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for rating. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for telling your friends. Thank you for doing everything that you do that helps this podcast be more successful than it currently is.
Thank you for being a friend.
Yes.
Thank
you for being a friend.
Well, you know,
it only takes that much to get me launching into song.
You know who wasn't a friend this week? Cory. Cory was not a friend when he went racing up to San Francisco to demand justice.
Yeah, I did.
I have to say, of all of the things that we've done, your picture with
all these shitty like sort of clickbaity-esque things that we've done.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
The picture of you outside of Uber Eats was probably the most successful one that we've ever pulled off.
It was so easy too.
So catch the folks up, or to catch the folks up at home. If you haven't checked out episode 171, take the time, go listen. Cory had a bit of a problem with Uber Eats on last week's episode.
I did indeed.
And this week, what happened this week, Cory, that had all the folks all riled up?
Well, basically what I did was I took a picture of myself outside of Uber's headquarters.
Right.
They had the Uber placard on the street, and I took a selfie. And then I said, going to speak to the manager's manager. But in reality, what I was trying to do with that picture was stir the pot, not so much actually go and
you weren't going to
antagonize somebody.
Get some poor person.
Yeah, fired. Just walk up to the secretary and be like, "Oh, I got a problem."
As I said last week, you go in, flip your hair. I need to speak to the manager, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right. Just do that move.
Yeah.
The one that you always.
I need to speak to your manager. Can you get your manager for me, please?
To be honest, I didn't imagine that it would get that much. I figured pretty much any comment or text on it would just be like, haha, that's funny.
Yeah. People were thinking you really, really went up there to do that.
Well, so I guess I didn't say anything ahead of time about, it was very last minute, me going up to San Francisco, but it was not for the purposes of going and yelling at Uber.
Right.
My mom and sister were in town to visit Brendan and see Hamilton.
And by in town, you mean in San Francisco?
Yes, in San Francisco. Yeah. So I made the trip up and saw my family. Mm-hmm. And they all saw Hamilton, and I didn't.
But they went on consecutive nights.
That's a grudge for another day, but that's okay.
They went on consecutive nights, and you just had to make yourself.
Yeah. You know, I the night where Mom and Laura were at Hamilton, I hung out with Brendan and Kat, and then when Brendan and Kat went to Hamilton, then I went to the movies to see War of the Planet of the Apes with Mom and Laura.
Oh, okay, yeah.
At the Alamo, which is my favorite theater.
I was going to say, well, at least you could say you went to the Alamo while you were there.
Yeah, at least I saw the Alamo.
Yeah.
By the way, a big how the fuck does this happen to only Brendan message real quick. I don't know if I told this story before, but Brendan went to get Hamilton tickets. They had a pre-sale and everybody, I don't know if you've ever done one of those Ticketmaster pre-sales, but it's thousands upon thousands of people crashing Ticketmaster trying to get tickets within the 7 minutes that they're available.
Yeah.
Brendan goes in, gets 2 orchestra seats for Hamilton.
Yeah.
And then almost immediately 2 friends of his call and say "Oh man, I wish I knew you were buying Hamilton tickets. I'd like to go see Hamilton." And he's like, "All right, well, let me see what I can do about it." And got 4 more tickets to Hamilton for the next night. So it was Christmas time, and we were just all sitting around. He tells the story. He's like, "Yeah, I got pre-sale tickets for Hamilton, and then somebody said that they wanted to go too, and I got 4 more for the next night, and I don't know what to do with the 2 I got."
I don't know what to do with all these Hamilton tickets.
I don't know what to do with all the Hamilton tickets I have. And my mom, without even thinking, was just "Well, take them." I will literally go anywhere to see Hamilton.
Yeah. And they came across the country.
Yeah, they came across the country to go see Hamilton.
Mom hasn't visited us here in LA yet.
No.
She went to San Francisco for Hamilton now.
That's just because she likes Lin-Manuel Miranda more than she likes me. That's clearly...
I mean, you said I wasn't going to say it, but you said it, so now it's out.
Also, I'm a little bit. I do know that my mother loves me. This is all a joke, but it is alarming how quickly she goes to ask how Rachel and Rob are before she like. I'll call up and be like, "Hey, Mom, how's it going?" She's like, "Good. How are Rachel and Rob?" Be like, "I'm fine too. Thank you."
Yes, your child is also good. Thanks,
yeah,
Mom.
your oldest one, the one who doesn't have the ability to get Hamilton tickets on will, like.
The universe is just smiling on Brent. I don't know what I think if you just have that attitude of like, fuck, whatever.
He's literally, he would walk, I joke that he'll walk down the street and I'll be like, hey, winning Powerball ticket. I guess I can bend over and pick it up. Why not? And by the way, Flash, big ups for you for going to a keg party wearing the Anthem shirt. I'm sure you're going to be the coolest person in the room when you do that.
Absolutely. So,
or certainly a person in the room at the very least.
And if you want to be as cool as her, you can go to otheanthem.com, go to the merch store, and pick up your own O The Anthem shirt. I believe that Flash has the Drink Bo, Scream O, Play Ball shirt, which is the one she was wearing.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, so that shirt's available along with a couple other things. So make sure you go to the store, check it out, and get your own O The Anthem gear there. Now, I do want to take just a couple of minutes and talk about the feedback that we got from last week.
Yeah, there was certainly feedback.
Yeah, so of what we've counted, I'm going to say that 15% of the responses were surprisingly pro Cory.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
You weren't
whatsoever.
expecting anybody to be in favor of what I was saying?
Well, I would assume that your mom would be, but, she asked how I was, so I...
She didn't even bring it up. I don't think she listens. I think she listened to like one episode and she's like, not for me.
And I have instructed my parents
and then moved along.
My parents are instructed not to listen to the podcast at all, ever, under no certain terms.
Yeah.
Except for, I think, the first...
We did like a Mother's Day episode where you're like, and my mom can listen. And then you did like a secret, like, it's time to go to bed, like, ear wiggle.
Turn it off. This is the spot.
And then followed immediately by like, so what's up with all these fucking police?
Yeah.
We don't need them, am I right?
But so 15% of the responses came out pro Cory, which was surprising. I want to say
one of Flash's favorite shirts, by the way. Flash, one of our favorite fans,
yes.
One of our favorite friends,
absolutely,
just in general.
And I think we have several of them. I think that they are one of the most comfortable shirts that you're going to get. So I mean, really, you can't beat it, all told. So we had a couple of responses in. I want to say a special thank you to Alyssa because she took the time to send like a 6-minute Snapchat defense of you, which I feel bad that like we replayed out of order, so you didn't hear all of it, and like whatever. I was listening to it downstairs and I heard it all.
By the way, also Flash is pro Cory, so it's 3 of 7.
No, I think Flash was not pro Cory.
It says right here, I was pro Cory, but I'm also crazy, so that's not a good marker.
But accepting that it's a point of craziness that you have to be insane to have that.
I didn't listen. I like.
She's arguing that.
I like going crazy once in a while. It keeps me young.
Oh God! All right. Anyway,
you don't keep this boyish good looks by being like not a little bit crazy.
All right. So, but we did get one phone message as well.
Yeah, from first time caller.
First time caller. Yes. Yeah. So, are you gonna play it there? Or are you gonna play it?
I'm gonna play it right here because I don't have it all hooked up like that right now.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller. Although I found it very entertaining about Cory and Uber, I find it most disturbing that he would slag off Jumanji and Valerian, both films that incite the mind and the soul. I wonder if Cory has a soul, since he is not excited by the visual delights of Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets. Anyway, you keep doing good here, and thank you for making such a good podcast. Dolores out.
I would like to say thank you, Dolores. I've been desperately waiting for somebody named Dolores to call.
Yeah.
Just because I enjoy the name so much. And listen, just because I don't like the looks of Jumanji and Valerian doesn't mean I don't have a soul. I have brown hair, so clearly I have a soul. If you're looking for somebody who might placate you with your Jumanji and your Valerian, though, I would definitely recommend you check out Jim's YouTube channel, Jim Gisriel.
Yeah.
Because he talks about movies and he might appreciate it more.
And you can give a shout out to @JimForce with 2 M's on Twitter.
Yeah.
And you can find all his links on there because I don't know his YouTube. Is it just his name, Jim Gisriel?
I think so.
Okay. Either way, you can find Jim Force on Twitter, and he has links to all his stuff there. But yeah,
Well, the double M's.
He'll absolutely give you the inside scoop on those movies.
He'll tell you exactly what you want to hear.
Yeah.
I imagine that Dolores and Jim Gisriel are on the same page as far as all this is concerned.
Yeah.
So.
If you guys haven't heard episode 171, give it a listen. Let us know. I am still hoping that we're going to hear from more people. That's going to just dilute the share of pro Cory people.
Listen, and also another thing. I got a text and I got the voicemail here. Yeah. But other than that, everybody sends their I'm pro or anti Cory messages directly to Rob. And listen, I don't know some of you people. It's okay.
You people.
The people who, can I speak to young man? I don't know all you people personally, but it's open to anybody at LegendCB5, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat,
yes,
Instagram, whatever. However you want to berate me in person, I don't care. I'll take it happily.
Or be like Dolores and send a voicemail or a text message into the listener line.
443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595.
Yes. And that way you can let Cory know and he can listen to it and, be appalled as... I'd
be like, oh my.
You're not appalled.
No.
You're like, yeah, fuck these guys. Everybody who's...
I didn't say that either, though.
Everybody who's like, Cory's wrong was like, hey, of course, like, yeah, fuck these guys. They don't even know. They don't even know what I do.
I didn't say that. You're putting words in my mouth.
Well, we have to move on from the big story in the Anthem world to the big story in the rest of the world this week. And for that, we have to take a trip on down to the Baltimore Corner.
Where you get the straight to?
Maybe, unless the cop planted it there.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, so it was really weird because I'm the only person in Maryland, from Maryland, who works in my office. And I saw the story for the first time when somebody posted it on our inter-office Slack and was like, Rob, what's the story with this? Because I've gotten a bit of a reputation around the office about my my interesting political.
Do they all happen to follow at Founding Future?
No, they don't, because I'm afraid I would get fired if they actually followed that. But no, so they but everybody kind of knows where my stance and that I was out marching in Maryland and doing the whole thing. So somebody sent in and was like, what's the deal with this? And I'm like, okay. So for those of you who haven't heard the story, Baltimore City cops, not news, not the smartest cops, not the smartest people in the world.
Yeah.
And basically they went in.
Well, hold on a second. Not all of them. Just because there's a few bad apples doesn't mean that they're all bad apples.
I'm painting with a very broad brush.
Yeah, I know.
And it's justified. So basically what they did is they went and on video, they planted some drugs in a can and then tossed it into a dirt, little, or I guess a junk pile.
It's like a junky, vacant backyard.
Yeah. And then walk back out to the street and then huddle up. And then
if you're from Baltimore, you recognize that backyard.
Yeah.
That it's one out of every 10 homes has that backyard.
But they walk out to the street and they huddle up on the sidewalk. And then you see the guy reach in and touch his body cam. And then they're like, well, I saw him run this way. And they walk down the alleyway. And then they're digging through some of the garbage.
He does a very half-assed search of other things. So he's just like, I wonder, is it under here? No, nothing. Oh, wait a minute. Drugs. There's drugs in this, I bet.
Yeah. So
also not a great actor too, because when they're when they're they showed during the police press conference, they showed clips of a 10-minute long body cam footage of them searching for it, and the cops are just like, this is fucking stupid. I'm tired of looking from this stupid fucking out. And then all of a sudden, when it comes time for the thing that they're going to play in court, it's just I think I'm going to do a visual search of the area.
Yeah.
This seems like a prime target for drug hiding.
Yes. And we know that there must be more drugs because, and this is the convoluted thing from the press conference, but a closed baggie in the pocket and an open baggie somewhere nearby.
Yeah.
That's apparently the rule, which really doesn't make sense to me when you're selling individual capsules, but...
So let's skip forward here.
Okay.
The Baltimore Police, basically Kevin Davis and the Lieutenant Police Commissioner, who isn't allowed to have a name,
Because Kevin Davis is worried he's going to take his job.
They had a press conference, and they basically just played a game of video 3-card Monty in front of everybody. They're just like, here's 4 videos that happened right before the video, and it's going to explain everything. And none of it explains anything.
No.
They're just like, and there's the guy who had drugs. But like the video that they showed was just like police hand like reaching in and then coming back out with drugs. And I'm just like, it's just like, oh, well, they must have found drugs. Like, nothing else explains why a hand disappears and then comes back with drugs in it a second later.
Clearly, it's the guy's drugs. He's a drug dealer, so that's.
And then they made some sort of like, and we talked to one source about somebody who was selling drugs, and then that led us to another source who told us about this drugs, and then it's just like none of it seemed like a great like linear. Like nobody came out there and had like a narrative for like what happened, and police are all about their narratives. And here's how I know they didn't have a narrative. Kevin Davis, when the reporters finally got to him, like 35 minutes after he started playing videos that didn't matter, they were just like, oh, so, you know, the one officer is suspended and the other 2 are like not doing anything involving the public. But why would they make this video? Like, what's the purpose of this? And like Kevin Davis is like, I mean, like, I don't know. I haven't, you know, we're internal affairs is getting into it, but like maybe he was just trying to recreate him finding the drugs so that they could have the video to play in court. And then like another reporter like raises a hand. It's just like, you know, that's a crime too. And he's just like, you can see in his head. He's like, I'm grasping at straws here, folks. Like,
but no, that the best case scenario and what the FOP basically did was throw the state's attorney under the bus by saying they only want to take cases where there's video of us getting the drugs.
Yeah.
So when we find them and the body cams aren't on, we will leave everything there and then go somewhere else, turn on the camera, and then rediscover the drugs so that we have the video for court.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the state's attorney's office just didn't respond. They just did the adult thing and just let it go.
No. They didn't respond. So here's the thing. Mosby is so fucked, so bad in so many different ways. She's already at the point where she's like fucking gotten everybody who was on her side about charging the Baltimore 6 upset with her.
Yes.
Because she did such a shitty job of
prosecuting them.
Yeah. Then she got those people that were like, at least she pressed charges against them, even more upset with her when she just continues to throw shit at the Keith Davis Jr. thing. Like, that's going to all of a sudden fix it. By the way, another one where they have body cam footage that doesn't match up with what they're talking about. And
he's been saying all along that they dropped the gun. It was a drop gun, and it wasn't his. And now they're like, no way, our officers wouldn't do that.
I'm sorry, that was it. It wasn't the body cam footage. It was the police planting evidence.
Yes.
It's like, and you know, the state's attorney's office and the police department was just like, we are fucking appalled that somebody would accuse us of planting evidence. Fast forward to this week where they planted evidence on video.
No. They didn't plant evidence. They were recreating the finding of legitimate evidence.
Still against the. It's like Don Trump Jr. last week, where it's just like, yeah, I mean, we took the Russia collusion meeting, but we didn't get any information of it, so it's not good. No, that's still illegal. It's still illegal. It's not. Just because you robbed the bank and they didn't have money doesn't mean it's not a robbery. Yeah. That is not how this works.
But yeah, so the fallout from this is that Baltimore once again in the news for bad policing.
Oh, by the way, so going back to Mosby real quick. She has a press conference, not to say like I'm going to sit on the police department until they stop fabricating evidence or anything like that. She just goes like, I have a couple problems with the things that Kevin Davis said about me in his press conference, and I'm going to respond to them.
In my own press conference.
In my own
come
press
on over,
conference.
let's do this. Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about how these cops should be shot out of a cannon into the center of the sun. I'm going to talk about how I was personally offended by the things that were said about my office during the press conference. And meanwhile, in the middle of the center of the sun is Catherine Pugh, who's done nothing about any of this. We talked about when the city was fucking burning to the ground and Mayor SRV is in there twiddling her thumbs or trying to get to the county or whatever the fuck she was doing.
Yeah.
at least, I mean, it took 6 hours.
Yeah.
But she eventually said something. She eventually came in front of a camera and said something. Check me on my Twitter feed.
Which exists.
Yeah,
the video exists. Find it.
But the part that just flabbergasted me is Pugh is like, I was looking through her Twitter trying to find like anything, like we're gonna figure out what's going on with this whole Baltimore Police Department shit. But no, nothing, not a single thing, except for, hold on, you talk for a second because I'm gonna find this one in particular tweet.
But I want to remind everybody that the Anthem put their support behind his name escapes me, Harris. Joshua Harris?
Yeah.
I want to say Joshua Harris. The Green Party candidate for mayor, because he actually, the day that things were happening, he was getting out there, he was out in the street, he was actually doing these things, because that's the kind of person you want in the mayor's office. You want somebody who's going to respond, who's going to get active. But you guys, you voted instead for Catherine Pugh. Overwhelmingly. I mean, you almost put Sheila Dixon back in office.
Yeah, how dare.
But instead you voted for Catherine Pugh. And this is what we have. We have a mayor who doesn't do anything. She doesn't say anything. National news reports about Baltimore police planting evidence, which may undermine thousands of police investigations.
Here's the one. Mayor Pugh 6 days ago. I'm sure this happened right before the video leaked.
Yeah.
And now it just looks stupid. With your help, at Baltimore Police continues to close cases. It will take entire community support to reduce violence and increase the peace. Okay.
I don't think it will. I think it'll take them planting some evidence, and then we just lock everybody up.
I think it'll be okay. So I'm a little bit. I've teased this idea before, but I'm gonna go full bore now.
Okay.
I would, if I was the city council in Pugh, I would go back into renegotiations with the FOP number 3.
Well, dismantle FOP
number
3.
I would go back into the negotiations with that FOP number 3. I would say, peace, guys. See ya. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to serve out your contract until it's done, but we're not going to have fraternal order of police
we're not
representing us anymore because this has been fucked too bad.
Yeah.
And then I would start either my own police department,
which they could do,
just like a completely separate thing and not have it be involved with the fraternal order of police at all.
Right.
Or I would hold over their head so hard every little thing that they need to change, including they are not allowed to investigate themselves anymore. They're not allowed to be in charge of the videos that they take of us.
Nope.
They are not allowed to be able to show any kind of video footage of an arrest or anything unless they have the entirety of the thing on video.
And
they cannot control the cameras.
Yeah.
That's another one. You can't decide when to turn on the camera because the only reason why we know about this stupid fucking story is because they were too dumb to wait more than 30 seconds between walking in the alley, planting the drugs, walking out of the alley, and then starting the video camera.
Because we did skip that. So the thing is, these cameras are always recording, but they are only recording 30 seconds worth until you hit go. But it always records without sound the 30 seconds from before
you hit the button.
The idea being, if the officer got into a life and death, oh my God, pop, 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 he should then hit the thing to know this is what caused me to shoot somebody.
Right. This is the 30 seconds leading up to when I hit the camera.
But dummy planted drugs and then walked out to the street and then hit it, forgetting that he needed a 30-second lag and went right back. Probably because they were tired of being out there in the heat and searching for drugs.
Yeah.
So he's like, fuck it, let's just get this. Let me go find this thing. All right.
Hey, drugs.
Yeah. But it undermines. I mean, I agree. First of all, the FOP should be dissolved. I am.
Just in general, like regardless of whether or not it's the FOP or whether it's a new Baltimore Police Department that's created independently of everything that's going on right now, they need to start over. That's essentially what we need to do. We need to fire every single police officer who's currently on the payroll and decide whether or not they get rehired.
Well, so, and I am...
Like, literally every single person who is involved with this current... I don't give a shit about your good apples or bad apples thing anymore.
They're all bad.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I'm sure there is a nice, friendly neighborhood cop who's doing the right thing and isn't being tainted by all his asshole friends. But you know what happens? Everyone gets fired, and maybe that guy gets rehired.
And now we got rid of the bad apples.
And now we got rid of the bad apples.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to do. Get rid of the bad apples. Now, if it's 5 bad apples, then we'll get rid of 5 bad apples. If it's 5,000 bad apples, then we'll get rid of 5,000 bad apples. What part of this is not like sticking with people? Yeah. It's the reference that we've made before, which is like, how badly do you have to fuck up your job before you get things taken away from you? You know, like every single if I was working at a place with a cash register, and every single day I took $3,000 out of the cash register, and they said, well, Cory's, you know, like everything else he does is really great, so I guess we're gonna let him continue taking money out of the register. No. You would say like, Cory, you're not allowed to touch cash anymore.
Yeah.
Or you would say, Cory, you're fired. Or you would say, Cory,
here's the police officer.
Here's an application to become a police officer.
Well, yeah, that too. I guess that would fit. But, you know, I don't agree with him on everything that he talks about, but Michael A. Wood, Jr. really does have a good plan. I mean, he talked about Baltimore, Detroit, Minneapolis now, apparently, Oakland. But what he said is you have to fire everyone at the top first, and then you get new people in there. And then basically everyone in the bottom interviews for their jobs. Because that way you retrain, and you're like, is this person capable of being retrained in the right way? No? Okay, you're fired. Yeah. And if you are a good apple,
and that's the thing. Listen, I don't even want the people who could potentially be retrained. I would rather just deal with like a 10-person police department in the meantime, because
are they doing anything anyway? I mean,
they have no. Okay. Here's the thing. When we talked about fucking Ocean City nudity,
yes,
and I said like, if you care enough about it, go do something.
Yes.
And the reason why this is not a thing is because nobody did anything about it. Yeah. Nobody marched on anything saying that we demand our titties be free in Ocean City. Mm-hmm. They just
that is a good slogan.
We demand our titties be free in
Ocean City. Yeah. Titties should be free
in OC.
Titties
be free in OC. Titties be free in OC. Titties be free in OC.
Oh God.
I think that what needs to, if you guys really, and I'm just speaking about mostly people in Baltimore because it's a little bit of a hike for me to go back and march on the Capitol. Yeah. And if I'm the only one, it doesn't work either. That's the other thing. Baltimore Block. Anybody who is serious about making change, the people who go out for West Wednesdays.
Yep. But that's Baltimore Block, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I'm saying anybody who's really serious about this should organize I'm going to stand out in the middle of the War Memorial Plaza.
Yeah.
Have a bullhorn, call Catherine Pugh a big fat fucking phony until she comes out and addresses our issues.
Yeah.
And then if she doesn't address your issues for 5 fucking days, then I don't know, push the building over. I'm not going to tell you to do anything specifically to the building, but I'm saying I think if everybody just starts pushing at the same time, it might topple over. And I don't think that's a crime. I think that's just poor craftsmanship.
It's definitely also a crime.
It's just poor craftsmanship. I'm just going by the Kevin Davis logic here.
Sure.
Oh no, he wasn't planning drugs. He was just recreating the scene. Okay, we're not destroying the city hall. We're just pushing it over. If it shouldn't be pushed over, then you shouldn't make it able to be pushed over.
I will say though that the Bastille Day just passed a half a week ago. It's the 14th, I think, of July. So last week, almost 2 weeks ago now, I guess 10 days. But history is always great for inspiration.
Yeah,
just saying. Yeah, but no, it's once again, Baltimore looks like a bunch of schmucks. They look like they don't know what they're doing. And they look like they're super corrupt.
I also don't understand how Catherine Pugh hasn't been asked to death about this.
Because she hasn't given any she hasn't been out.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying and if she does go out, they say like, hey, let's not talk about this Baltimore police thing. And people let her get away with that sort of shit. You gotta, listen, if you want the Baltimore police to be disbanded and replaced by something else, like Labrador retrievers with hats. Then,
robots that drown themselves in fountains.
That'd be fine too. Maybe that robot says like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of planting evidence.
Really, my fingers are crossed that robot became sentient and was just like, you made me to be a police officer? No, never. And it apparently it was the second attempt to do that, and it succeeded in its second time.
By the way,
yes.
also, I'd just like to put the statement out there for anybody who may be listening still, who is a friend of mine who might be in the Baltimore Police Department or related to somebody who's in the Baltimore Police Department. I am not making fun of your people. I'm not saying that whoever I'm talking about, Rob is, yeah. I'm not saying that your relation is part of the problem. I'm saying that the system is the problem, and the system needs to change. I would take away literally every single piece of enforcement that they have.
Yeah,
I would take away the videos. I would take away their ability to turn on and off body cams.
Right.
They are not allowed to put on their sirens unless there's an emergency that's called in on the radio.
CAD notes matching
Yeah.
lights. Yeah.
If that's the case, then you get arrested for whatever you just did to turn on the lights for. I'm so fucking sick of it. It's insane.
And I will say, just to clarify my position, I do blame your family members, because if your dad or your uncle or your sister or your mom or whoever stood by on that street while Joe Schmo dumbass planted drugs and didn't speak up about it, that guy was looking at 30 years in jail. Possession with intent to distribute. 30 years in jail. And had the most likely, by the way, also had to go through the public defender. So it's not like they could have afforded a good lawyer to get rid of this case for them. Right.
They had to, and this is not me shit talking the public defender's office, because they do a wonderful job, but we all have to understand that they're not A-class lawyers.
Well, no, they are. No, they are. They are A-class lawyers, but I had a caseload generally of about 50 to 60 cases. They have a caseload of about 500 cases at a time. So when you have 500 cases, you can't give every case the individual attention, and you know that when you're going in, pleading is the way to go. So, hey, you got no priors? Shit, man. I can get you no jail time at all. Will you plead to it? All right, good. No jail time. You walk out today? Shit. All right, let's do it. And then you're just rolling through a process. But the ironic thing is that the reason this came out is because the public defender's office got the video and noticed the 30 seconds of the beginning.
Yeah.
But the question is, how many times have the edited videos been the ones that got to the public defender's office or to a lawyer, where it's edited bloop, right from where he stops?
Like all those Freddie Gray videos.
Right. Because, again, the police are in charge of the videos. And
right.
They, instead of giving raw footage, which is what they're supposed to do, a lot of times they take cell phone footage of a screen and then send that in.
Or
evidence.
they can just, again, listen undisclosed if you want your mind blown. But the cops can go in to the service that basically keeps the cloud backup of all these security cameras and alter the footage.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't say clearly police are allowed to alter footage before sending it out, but they're allowed to alter footage without making it seem like anything's wrong.
Yep.
So go fuck us, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
but so my point is this: if your aunt or your mom or your brother or your dad is standing out on the street while Joe fuck up is planting drugs, or any of the other 10,000 things, the dirty things that the Baltimore City Police do, then they are just as bad as the one who's planning drugs.
Oh yeah,
because
I'm almost I'm just as upset at those two guys who are standing on the street corner laughing as I am at the guy who actually planted the drugs.
Yeah.
Because and listen, I get it. I get that anytime any Baltimore police officer has ever come out and said that the department is crooked and dirty and everything like that,
Michael A. Wood,
has been shafted so hard, it's unbelievable.
Yep.
But if this fucking thing happened in January and nobody at Eternal Affairs had been alerted to it by one of the other two guys who fucking saw him do it, then what the fuck? What the fuck? I mean, also, on top of that, and I can't believe I'm the person who's more outraged by this than you are. But why can't we get the names of these police officers?
Because the Officers' Bill of Rights in Maryland.
I don't give a shit. Nope. Somebody break into the Baltimore Police Department, get their names, and release it to the public. And also, if we can get a picture of them beating their child or driving home drunk or anything that makes them look as terrible as possible to put with their name on the
Can we get a mugshot
Like,
of
yeah.
them to put in the paper?
Like on WBAL, can we
Yeah.
get something that makes them look really like tough and scary and terrible?
Not in the dress
not in
blues.
not in the uniform. Like
yeah, no, fuck that.
just up. I want the thing of like this is Joe Johnson, the guy accused of putting the of fabricating that footage, and just a video of him slapping the shit out of his wife.
Yeah,
And that's the video, because if there was a video somewhere of Freddie Gray slapping the shit out of his mom or sister or anything,
it would have been.
that would have been that would have been out. And you know who would have released it? The Baltimore Police Department. They would have released it. They would have called somebody at the Sun. They would have said, "Hey, we got video of Freddie Gray beating the shit out of his sister." And then Justin Fenton would be like, "Oh God." Then type it up real quick in a series of tweets. And
Have you turned on Justin Fenton?
I'm just so like, I'm so flabbergasted by this whole thing. Like the whole shitty system is rigged.
Yes. Welcome to the resistance. The whole shitty system is rigged.
Speaking of which,
no,
Trump.
wait. Before that. But no, the idea though is if your cousin or brother or whatever is letting bad shit happen, they are just as bad. That's my original point. They are just as bad.
Yeah.
And you're right. The system is rigged. Newspapers aren't asking questions. They're getting rid of the one paper that would have asked that question. Those people are getting fired. But we're keeping on. Listen,
I almost want to find out how much it'll cost to keep the city paper alive. Like, see if I can raise the money.
Yeah.
And then just walk into the editorial board and just go like, go nuts.
whatever you want to do.
Literally
do it.
anything you want to do. You don't have a corporate overlord looking over you anymore.
Yeah.
You want to say Pugh's a pussy on the front page? Do it. I'm fine with it. Go for it.
But as to the Freddie Gray
Because, I mean,
video,
Pugh is a pussy. I mean, that's just straight. If
as-
she wasn't a pussy, then she'd talk about it in front of a camera.
As to the Freddie Gray video, I was going to say I saw that another officer was indicted for a shooting that happened. He was fired and then indicted, which is great. But they put the picture of him in his dress blues on the news.
Yeah.
And then there was another story out of Atlanta where a guy goes into a burning car to rescue a family. And the headline, ex-con,
Yeah.
goes into... And I'm like,
I saw
I'm
that.
sorry, what? You put a picture of a cop who killed someone in his dress blues, but this dude who saved 2 kids' lives is an ex-con.
Yeah.
He'll be an ex-con for the rest of his life. Like the whole goddamn system is rigged.
The
all right?
shady part of that is when they start writing the articles that like sort of like do precog shit, like future felon
Yeah.
saves family from fire.
Future felon. What do you mean? Well, I mean,
Well, he just saw a picture of a black guy, so he assumed.
but all of that, of course, coming from an anonymous source.
Written by the Baltimore Police Department.
That's all coming from an anonymous source, the same anonymous source that Anthony Scaramucci is using apparently. So,
Yeah.
If that name
Who is that anonymous source, by the way?
Donald Trump. If that name is unfamiliar to you, then you probably have not been paying attention this week. But sadly, Melissa McCarthy will not be appearing on SNL anymore. And I would say I'm not even upset about Sean Spicer being fired. I'm upset that we're not going to get Melissa McCarthy on SNL anymore.
I know.
Although I'm hoping that he'll like write a book or stay in the news, and then we'll see Melissa as Sean in like his civilian life.
I mean, technically, I think Sean Spicer is still like on the payroll. Like he's like sort of teaching the new guy his job before he leaves, kind of thing.
Yeah, he resigned, but it's like I accept your letter, teach this guy what to do. But he wasn't. It was not like he was doing all the press before anyway. Sarah Huckabee Sanders was doing it. So
Well, that's because Sean Spicer got blasted so fucking bad all day that he couldn't go out there with any kind of credibility anymore. And the reason why they're doing off-camera briefings now is because they don't want Sarah Huckabee Sanders to be fucked like him.
Yep.
So
except for hey, Resistance. One reporter live streamed the audio from it, and I was like, yes, why aren't you all doing this?
yeah, literally, if you all do it, it can't stop you. Like,
if 2 people did it and you went to a SoundCloud, start a SoundCloud called Anonymous Reporting from the White House.
yeah.
And just upload it. Upload it for free,
Yeah.
and no one will know who it is. Although I do imagine Trump sitting in the office like...
But then Tribune Media won't be able to be credited with the footage, and then
yeah, and that's really all it really
Yeah.
comes down to. But it only happened once, and then there was a whole like to do about it while they were trying to figure out who it was that did it, and
Yeah.
so it is what it is. But if more reporters did it, then you guys could just sit there with your phones and just like record video. We'll put up with like the weird angle where we're like watching TV. like to the
Watching
side.
it from the side.
Yeah, because we're like, do what you got to do, but just get the video out, get the audio out, so we know what they're saying. It's utterly ridiculous that they are doing off camera and off audio, but nonetheless, Sean Spicer's out. Something that apparently had been coming. So,
By the way, really quick question Roberto brings up here. He's gonna be heading over here and hang out with us, and he
Sure.
wants to continue listening as he goes.
yeah.
If you guys want to continue listening, but you got to go do something, you can always just leave the Facebook Live video up while you're driving in the car, and then have it play on Bluetooth.
I am watching the video of us right now, so you can actually get it on your Facebook mobile, and you can watch it right in the car. Plug it in, put it on Bluetooth. I mean, I don't have the high technology that Cory has.
Yeah.
So I have to plug in the mic.
Yeah, you have to do it with the aux cord.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
otherwise, I mean, really, you can watch it along. And I mean,
You don't have to actually watch us. I mean, like, my face isn't this pretty for no reason, but
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to just listen, and that's fine.
Or, of course, you can go back and listen to the whole catalog of old episodes at otheanthem.com. All 171 episodes are available there. If you do want to watch something, get YouTube on your mobile device. We have a ton of episodes up in video format on YouTube, youtube.com/otheanthem. And I think that's basically everything that you could listen to. Yeah, because SoundCloud, no. We don't have SoundCloud.
Well, we started doing little clips of it. and
Yeah,
then
but
did
not full episodes.
it. Yeah, that didn't take off as well as we hoped. So,
But
you
Roberto
can go to SoundCloud and listen to our shit talking Stephanie Rawlings Blake from like 2 years ago.
I think it'd definitely be worthwhile. But Roberto brings up an interesting thing, just a sidebar. Did you hear that SoundCloud is dying? Yes and no. SoundCloud actually isn't dying. They laid off a bunch of people. Here's the inside scoop from someone who may or may not be in the music business. It looks like that they had a bid for purchase that was low. So their revenue looks like it's solid all the way through the end of the year. So instead of doing another round of financing, which would then put them further in debt, they laid off a bunch of people. That lowers overhead. And revenue will stay consistent moving upward, which means the valuation will be higher. And then they'll try to get a fourth quarter bid for purchase, and they'll get the whatever number they were looking for. In the meantime, apparently Chance the Rapper is making moves with musicians to try and buy a share of somebody. Somebody owns a share, but they didn't actually put up any cash when they got their share. So what Chance is trying to do is to buy that share and then voluntarily invest in the company. But nobody wants to invest unless they have some way of getting that back. So you buy out a non-investor share, and then without having the need to, but just deciding to, you invest some of your money into that. So SoundCloud's going to be around, and if you're concerned, story this week that someone on Reddit actually downloaded 900 terabytes of data from SoundCloud. So everything that existed on SoundCloud as of Friday is backed up.
It's some guy's hard drive.
It's some guy's server. It's got to be a server.
Yeah,
I don't know what a 900 terabyte drive looks like.
It looks like our kitchen. It looks like the fridge.
So he's got all the music, and basically I think what his position is, hey, if SoundCloud dies and somebody else comes, I will just give this to them, and then you just upload all of it so it.
Oh look, somebody downloaded some of our The Anthem material.
It'll live forever.
It'll live on forever in this fridge-sized server.
But so back to the topic at hand, though. So Spicer's out.
Spicy out.
Yeah. And maybe we'll see her one more time. Like
they gotta give us something.
Yeah. The new guy whose name is.
I'm sure she'll like host the show at some point next year, and they'll do the one throwaway spicy bit.
Do one in the middle of the show where she's like live from New York, and like they already did that bit.
And then she rides the thing.
Maybe she'll ride it off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Oh,
just to start.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll make that joke even less funny by having her do it to Hallelujah.
Anyway, so the new guy whose name is Anthony, and I'm probably butchering this, but Anthony Scaramucci, which is my guess.
Something like that.
And there had to be some extreme vetting done. Trump likes extreme vetting. That's why he's passing the Muslim ban. If they're going to replace Spicer, you got to get somebody who is so clean that there will be no question. And that's what they did with this guy. I'll tell you what.
No.
Oh, really? What happened?
I mean, pretty much within seconds of the announcement that he was going to be joining the Trump White House, I saw like hundreds of tweets going like, "Oh, you mean this guy whose name is on the masthead of like a Russian investment company?"
Yep. Ties to Russia? Check. So he's good for Trump. But the other weird thing, though, is that he has publicly been very not anti-Trump, but anti-Trump policies for a very long time. Like, he is pro-gay marriage. He's pro-abortion. Oh, wait, no, that's true. Trump was both of those things. Right?
Yeah,
Until
at
he
one
ran for
point.
president. Yeah.
Well, Trump was everything at some point.
Yeah. So he has been so vocal about how he is not really a Republican, and in the time of hugest crisis, Trump goes to him. And I first thought was maybe Trump's getting smart and he's getting political and he's going to like bring in a centrist and try to save this thing.
Yeah.
But no, I think he's just dumb and he liked this guy. And maybe Putin gave him a short list and he's like, Scaramucci, I like that guy. Let's take that.
Not only that, just in case you think that just politics in general is going to like, oh, well, maybe this shit hasn't worked and we're going to go to a centrist. No, I mean, McConnell just got fucked real bad with the healthcare vote.
Yeah.
And now apparently next week he's going to vote on something. On Tuesday, something is getting voted on.
It's a motion to proceed on the healthcare bill. So basically they are just going to repeal Obamacare and not replace it with anything.
Yeah.
So you thought, 22 million people losing their healthcare, 25 million people losing their healthcare, all bad. Nope, 32 million. 32 million people losing healthcare, and that we're just gonna we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out in the next couple of years. It's fine.
Eventually we'll figure out how to replace it with something.
But also, Trump is making calls to senators, and he's saying things like, "Hey, I see that you don't have much of a war chest. I'd really, really hate it if the RCCC didn't give you any money for re-election next year."
RNC.
Yeah. Didn't give you any money for re-election next year. That would really suck, wouldn't it? Yeah. So maybe a healthcare vote.
Did you see? If you want to see the top of this type of shit, watch the lunch or something that he had with all the Republican senators. Yeah. He has Dean Heller sitting right next to him, senator from Nevada, who is sort of famously like on the fence about this whole thing, but said like, I can't do it. Too many people lose health insurance. It's hurtful inside. And then they sit him right next to Trump, and Trump's just like, maybe some people don't want to be senators anymore, and just sort of like taps Heller, and it's just like, what are you fucking doing? Like,
but if the bill passes on Tuesday, if the motion to proceed passes on Tuesday, it is only going to teach Trump that bullying and threatening people totally works. And we don't want to live in a country where the dictator can essentially bully people, threaten them, try to pull money. I hate that money is a part of politics, but it's a part of politics. And you're risking re-election. We don't want to live in a country that has Trump as president. Unfortunately, that's what we're going to have to do. We definitely don't want to live in one where he keeps getting all of this negative or positive reinforcement for his negative behavior.
Yeah.
We cannot have that. We cannot have that. And the bigger thing is, you guys who live in Heller's district, I guess the whole state of Nevada, right?
Yeah.
You need to call his office.
Anyone who lives in Nevada.
Yeah, or any senator, all of you, call all your senators, and you say this. Say, hey, guys, listen, all the money in the world is not going to matter because I'm not going to vote for you if you vote for this bill. That's what I'm telling you now. So you can get all the money from the RNC that you want, but I am not going to vote for you no matter what if you vote for this. And set the standard. Because if they think, hey, I'm getting voted out if I don't do it, and I have a worse chance of getting voted in if I do, maybe I'll just not vote for it. So
here's the other one. This is what I'm going to start doing anytime somebody emails me with a like Trump's doing amazing things thing. I'm going to say, find me this in 3 other sources.
Yeah, anything other than Fox News.
Yeah, Breitbart. Find me anything other than Fox News or Breitbart or The Blaze that is telling me this, or InfoWars. Like, if you can find me a legitimate news source that is reporting this as well, then I will happily take it under advisement. Yeah. But if you're going to send me a story from Fox News about how Trump is doing amazing, then I'm just not going to take it.
There's nothing I can do about that. Yeah. So I guess we'll have to see how Anthony Scaramucci does. He's already deleted all the tweets that were all, hey, this is what I really believe in.
But the internet lives forever.
The internet lives forever, guys. Sorry.
Nothing you post on Twitter is forever gone.
And we'll see if we have a return to the on-camera or at least audio recorded gaggles.
Yeah.
I don't know if getting a new guy in there, somebody who has like a little more experience speaking to the press, apparently for his Russian investment group, he did a lot of speaking to the press. So.
By the way, just again, for anybody who is interested in how you change things, let's say there is, I don't know, 200,000 people who are really upset about Trump and how he's handling things.
Yeah.
Sound like a conservative estimate?
Very conservative, I would say.
Okay.
Probably 63 million people who are upset about it.
Yeah, but if you took like 200,000 of them and told them all to meet in Washington, D.C. and surround the White House with bullhorns and scream until Trump comes out and makes a statement, you have effectively increased the population of Washington, D.C. by
a third.
Yeah, a
'cause
third.
I think it's got like 600,000 people who live in it.
Yeah, so Washington, D.C. at that moment will be 133% the population that it usually is, and a full 33% of them are going to be doing nothing but screaming about Trump outside of the White House. And guess what? That gets a lot of coverage. Fox News can't ignore the fact that 200,000 people are crowded around the White House.
And
if you want to make it more, if you want to make it 300, you want to make it 400, 500, a million, a trillion, whatever, I don't care.
Not
The
really
more
that many
people
people
that you have surrounding the place and asking for the person that you do not like to leave, then the better off you are. And if people don't like this idea and they want Trump to remain in office, that's fine. You show up too and tell all the people that are there protesting that they should go home. And then we can just settle this the old-fashioned way.
Hey, if you can get 200,000 people to D.C., give me a call because I got other things that we can do with 200,000 people in D.C. I'm just saying. Maybe not the Women's March because I don't really feel like, singing and dancing around in the street. If you get people who are serious and want to protest or want to do something about it, then let me know. I can do that.
This isn't. I'd like to say this for the record, just about protesting. I don't know if I brought this up before. I know I talked to you about it.
Yeah.
But and this isn't anything against the Women's March or anything like that. But I went to a Women's Day event at Grand Park just to see what was up.
Yeah.
And there, when I arrived, there was a woman up on the dais screaming about we need equal rights for equal pay, or equal pay for equal work, and equal rights under the law, and my body, my choice, and all the other things.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, okay, so I've heard all this before. Not minimizing it, but I'm like, I need a cigarette. So I walk away, I smoke a cigarette, I come back, and it's literally the club out in the middle of Grand Park.
Yeah.
All these people who were there protesting are now dancing, and they're playing music, and it's not even like uplifting music that sounds like not even that. It's not that they're not playing we're not gonna take it or anything like that. It was like, do you believe in love after love? And I'm just like, what is this?
It's a party. Protesting is not supposed to be a party.
Yeah.
You're supposed to get your head split in by a crooked cop who then sprays you with a fire hose, and if you're lucky, you drop a bow on him right before he puts you in handcuffs. I don't understand when things became I think Occupy Wall Street really ruined it for everything. Because it was just like, no, we're just going to sit here and chill. That's what we're going to do.
Here's the question. How many people do you think show up at a protest wearing the V for Vendetta mask and know anything about what that's about?
The movie V for Vendetta? Or
no, the
Guy
actual
Fawkes?
Yeah, the actual Guy Fawkes
None.
story.
0%.
2% maybe?
No. Out of a group of 2,000 people, a statistical 0% know what that is. I guarantee you.
Okay.
Listen, and if you want to know, we maybe a nice Rob Explains Everything Guy Fawkes mask. Yeah.
Or just Guy Fawkes in general.
Guy Fawkes in general. It's a good story.
Listen, this has happened before.
Yeah. Although Guy Fawkes really not the guy you think he is when you're supporting that. But
right. You just like the mask.
One other quick thing I did want to talk about this week. Talk about people who are going to have some protests probably. HBO has announced a new show coming out in 2018. From the writers of Game of Thrones.
Wow, that sounds good.
Who obviously aren't going to have a job after this season airs. So it's going to be set. It's an alternate history show. And it's set in the U.S. In the 20th century.
Okay. So far, so good.
Think Man in the High Castle, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's alternate history in so much as the South won the Civil War.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess they had a 50% chance of doing that anyway.
And slavery still exists.
That was me faking a spit take.
Yeah.
So I got a couple things about this. Point of order.
Yeah.
First of all, I'd like to take the standard Southern response to anybody talking about the Civil War and say that it wasn't necessarily all about slavery.
Which, and I hate people who jump in and say, yeah, but you're absolutely right. It was not all about slavery. but it was about slavery.
Yeah.
It was about slavery.
It was about the things that allowed slavery to happen.
Yes.
Which is essentially what the Civil War was about. But
economics, federalism, and slavery.
Yeah.
Slavery
at the end of it,
involved in both
slavery was a major cog in that.
Yes.
But also, let's say the South did win the Civil War. Mm-hmm. I imagine slavery would probably be around for a bit longer than it was. But how much longer how much of a shelf life do you think slavery actually has in like a realistic lifetime of?
It's funny you mention this because I actually wrote a pilot for an alternate history show.
No.
Yes, based in 1985.
If I was a network executive, could I buy it right now?
You absolutely could. Actually, I'd probably need time to revamp it because I lost some of the last changes.
Just cross some I's.
Yes, cross some T's, dot some I's. Set in 1985, and the South won the Civil War.
No.
And guess what I didn't include in it?
Slavery?
Right, because why the fuck would you? Because why? What society moves forward and says, yes, let's continue doing this thing that we need to do? No. And in fact, in my pilot, the South is far more progressive than the North because after ending slavery, they realized they need to address their history of racial problems.
I can understand the logic behind somebody saying that slavery survived.
Yeah.
Or slavery survived for a while longer, but I can't imagine how it would still be around today.
So when researching my pilot, which is of course available now, Rob at robertandcheek.com, you can reach me there, and we can talk about it if you have anything. Anyway, so what I found,
Cory at CoryBakerFilmmaker.com, just in case,
What I found though,
in case you want something that's not so controversial.
Yeah. What I found was that the South was the Confederacy was reaching out to both Britain and France to be allies, and both of them said, "This is a rule. If we support you, if you can prove that you can win, number one, and then if we do support you, you would need to manumit your slaves, free your slaves, within 20 years of the end of the war. So, as to become an ally of Britain, who had ended slavery around the end of the 1700s, and France, who had ended slavery as part of their the dark days with the Revolution. There you go. The French Revolution.
Yeah.
So both of them had been half of a century with no slavery.
Yeah.
And they said you would have to free your slaves if we're going to be your ally. We'll help you now, and we'll help you economically after, but you have to end slavery. And we need an agreement. The part of the treaty will say slavery will end within 25 years of the end of the war. And they were considering it. The South was considering it to keep their nation. We will give up slavery.
Yeah.
There is no universe where a society can have 3/5 of their population be enslaved to 2/5 of the population,
right,
and have a functioning society. It just does not work.
Also, my problem with this is that if you're doing a show about slavery, like that happens during the time of slavery,
okay, yeah,
then you can get away with like you're making roots. You can show the perils that the people who went through slavery went through. You can show somebody being whipped, or you can show somebody like a woman being raped, or like families being torn apart, all that sort of stuff, because it's sort of an accepted knowledge of the time.
It's history.
Yeah.
We're talking about the history of something that actually happened.
Right. If you have a new show where slavery has existed all the way until like 1977 or whatever, and then you show them whipping slaves, that's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
That's just sick masochism. That's not for the... And if you create a fictional universe like Game of Thrones, where like there's different rules in this world, and like rape plays a big part in it because they're different than we are,
because it's the Dark Ages, right?
Essentially, then you can get away with that too. But if you're trying to play like this is the actual timeline of things, if the South had won, then just not cool.
And how about look for some historical accuracy?
Like what nation has slaves still?
None of them.
Well, I mean, you kind of have a low paid slave trade that goes on in like Qatar and stuff like that.
Okay,
like
yes.
the people who are working on the World Cup stadiums for like 10 cents a day.
And
the only reason why they're doing it is because like people own debts on their families and they need to pay them back, and it'll take them 130 years to do so.
To be fair, though, I owe debt to Capital One, and that's why I get my ass up and go to work every single day too.
Yeah.
So we're both debt slaves. That's a matter of capitalism. We can talk about that at a different place. But no, but those people came voluntarily. There is no one who is enslaving people as a matter of course and keeping them enslaved.
Right.
Like there's no slave trade. I mean, there's white slave trade, but there is not.
There's like the sex slavery.
Sex slavery, yes, but not like work slave trade.
Right.
And hey, if you want, Game of Thrones guys, you want to do a show about slavery? How about let's address white slavery? Let's get the sex slave trade. And
I mean, like
bringing 14-year-old girls from Vietnam to America for Donald Trump and his friends.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry,
I think.
What did I say?
I didn't hear any names specifically.
Sorry. Yeah.
I didn't hear any of those stories during the campaign for sure.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Definitely don't look that up on the Googles. No, I mean, like, I think that would be a more compelling story. Really, I mean, like, you know, as horrible and shitty as it is, I think that, and as much as I feel like there's sort of a lazy crutch to go to rape in popular movies and television these days. I think that if somebody did a story about somebody, like did a movie about, a 14-year-old Laotian who came over here, Laotian who came over here and was involved in, the sex trade, then I would, it would make sense to have like gratuitous things in it to show how bad it is.
Well, I was gonna say it's not gratuitous. It's telling a true story.
Yeah.
Just like Roots is telling a true story.
Right.
But when you are talking about 1990s America, where the Confederacy is won and slavery is a existent institution, that's ridiculous. And I'm going to say, for the record now, I will not watch that show when it comes out. If it comes out in the form that they are currently pitching it as.
I can't imagine that it does either.
Change, yeah. And hey, guys, if you're looking to change, everyone send a message to @HBO on Twitter and let them know that @Robert N. Cheek has a better script that goes a better direction. And it's not even really about the slavery part. It's
also,
not even about it's about war. It's great.
Hold on. I just came up with the idea.
Okay.
This is a way that they could kind of do this story and do it in an interesting way, I feel.
Okay.
You make it so that it's during the time of slavery or during the time of the Civil War and just show the South winning.
Yeah.
Like show a story with like Robert E. Lee conquering the Union. And then if slavery is a part of it, well, that's because it was a part of America during that time. And you could show like an alternative history of how would the South have won the Civil War if they had? And I'll tell you why, because, shocking secret, Abraham Lincoln was not that great of a military general.
No, and none of his generals.
Yeah, all of the people that he had involved were fucking horrible until Grant came along. Yeah. Like he lucked into Grant, and if he hadn't lucked into Grant, then we would all be the Confederacy right now.
Well, no, we wouldn't, because they didn't want to conquer us. They just wanted to be independent.
Right.
And another thing that this guy did for research on his own pilot was to go back and see, like, let's find a place where shit got fucked up, and where did luck really get into it? And by the way, Grant, 6 months before he was given that, was almost killed.
Yeah.
And he was in a line of soldiers, and of the, I think, 7 or 8 who were there, 5 were killed. Grant survives, and then 6 months later gets the commission to basically win the Civil War.
Yeah.
Had that cannon been turned a 1/10 of an inch to the right, it kills Grant, and we might have lost the war.
Yeah.
The ridiculous little things of history. But this guy did that kind of research. Apparently, the writers of Game of Thrones are just like, it's fiction. We make it up as we go along.
Yeah, whatever.
Sure. And this is the thing I love, and I know you didn't watch very much of it, but Man in the High Castle.
Also, but I mean, I was going to bring that up. Like, Man in the High Castle doesn't have, like, the killing of Jews in it, does it? There's no, like, concentration camps or, like, anything. I mean, like, there's enemies, and there's, like, punishment for enemies, but it's not the same.
It's mentioned.
It's not the same as, like, I want a perfect Aryan race kind of thing.
No, it is. But it's mentioned, but it's not the focal point of what's going on. And I imagine you can't do this show without showing a black guy in white gloves following people around. Like, there is no way that story is told without showing the slavery as a big part.
Yeah.
And the concentration camps are mentioned in Man in the High Castle, and you see that the spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen season 2, the son has a genetic disease, and so he can't stay with them. He has to go. So there's the whole dad trying to hide it, because as soon as dad finds out, he's like, the government can't find out about this or they're going to take him away. You know what I mean? Like, so there's that, but it's not the focal point of the show. The show is about something else. When you have slaves in modern day America, that becomes a focal point no matter what story you're telling.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it like, what the fuck are you guys thinking while I'm listening to a show about whatever it's really supposed to be about?
All right. Well, I would like to talk about something else that if the government finds out, we're all going to jail.
Okay, what's that?
OhTheAnthem.com. Cory at OhTheAnthem.com. OhTheAnthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595.
And you can find me on all your social networks at Robert N. Cheek. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com, where you can find links to my political blog, foundingthefuture.us, where you'll find a lot more stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
The news website and the books, which are available on Amazon.
Buy Rob's books.
And, if you like what you hear about the police and, revolution and stuff, maybe you'll like one of the books. Check them out.
Or maybe you'll just follow Rob on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's a good place to find it.
At Founding Future, at Robert N. Cheek on Twitter. So, thank you. Yeah.
Well, I think we've done good here today. I can barely get it out of my mouth.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good, and I'm just glad I'm not in Baltimore to get pulled over. That's really...
That's pretty much at the top of my list, too.
But as always, you are listening to the The Anthem podcast, part of the The Anthem digital network. For Cory, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody.
Especially you, Catherine Pugh, you big fat fucking coward.
Get your t-shirts and wear them to your barbecues.
Bye.